The Untold Story of Spartacus's Wife. The title, The Untold Story, the title, The Untold Story of Spartacus's Wife, suggests an exploration of a hidden or overlooked narrative in history, one that revolves around the woman behind one of the most famous rebellion leaders of ancient Rome. While Spartacus's name is well known for leading the Third Servile War, 73-71 BCE, against the Roman Republic, his wife remains a shadowy figure, largely ignored by historical records. However, ancient sources hint at her existence, and modern historians speculate about her possible role in shaping Spartacus's journey from a Thracian warrior to a gladiator, and ultimately a revolutionary leader. According to the ancient historian Plutarch, Spartacus's wife was a Thracian woman, possibly a prophetess or priestess, who was enslaved alongside him by the Romans. Some sources claim that she had visions or omens that foretold Spartacus's great destiny. If true, this would suggest that she played a significant role in inspiring his rebellion, not just as a companion, but as a spiritual force behind his actions. The idea that she was a prophetess adds a fascinating dimension to her character, someone who might have given Spartacus the confidence to rise against his oppressors. Despite the scarcity of historical records, Spartacus's wife likely endured the same suffering as other enslaved women of her time. She would have faced violence, humiliation, and the constant threat of being separated from her husband. However, if she remained by his side throughout his revolt, she may have contributed to the resistance in her own way, perhaps by providing counsel, tending to the wounded, or rallying the enslaved people with her words and presence. Her role may not have been one of direct combat, but it is possible that she influenced the morale and unity of the rebel forces. Women in ancient history often played crucial roles behind the scenes, even if their contributions were not documented in the same way as their male counterparts. Spartacus's wife could have served as a source of emotional strength for him, helping to sustain his resolve during difficult times. She may have shared his dreams of freedom, standing beside him, not just as a spouse, but as an equal in spirit. Given that Spartacus's rebellion was not just a fight for his own escape, but a widespread uprising against slavery, his wife's influence may have extended beyond him to the thousands of enslaved people who followed his leadership. One of the most intriguing aspects of her story is the mystery surrounding her fate. Historical records do not provide any clear details about what happened to her after Spartacus's final battle. Did she perish alongside him, fighting for freedom? Was she captured by the Romans and enslaved once again? Or did she manage to escape, living on as a symbol of the rebellion's spirit? These unanswered questions leave room for speculation and imagination, making her an ideal subject for historical fiction or deeper research into the lives of women in ancient resistance movements. If Spartacus's wife was indeed a Thracian priestess, her role may have extended beyond just being his companion. In Thracian culture, priestesses were highly respected, often seen as spiritual guides and healers. It is possible that she influenced not only Spartacus, but also the other enslaved people who joined the rebellion. If she had the gift of prophecy, her words could have inspired hope and courage among the fighters, giving them a sense of destiny and purpose in their struggle against the Roman forces. Her presence also raises an important question. What was it like to be a woman in a rebellion that was primarily remembered for its male warriors? History often overlooks the women who stood alongside male leaders, but they played vital roles in supporting revolutions. Spartacus's wife may have been involved in the planning and organization of the rebel camp, ensuring that wounded fighters were cared for, that morale remained high, and that the vision of freedom stayed alive even in the face of immense challenges. In many ancient societies, women were expected to remain passive, accepting their fate as the property of men. But Spartacus's wife, much like the women of other historical resistance movements, may have defied this expectation. She was not just a victim of slavery, but a fighter in her own way, whether through her spiritual influence, her encouragement, or her own acts of defiance. She represents the countless women throughout history whose contributions to great uprisings have been forgotten or minimized. The story of Spartacus's wife also invites us to think about the personal cost of rebellion. While Spartacus's name is immortalized in history, he was ultimately a man who loved and was loved. His wife's suffering, her fears, and her hopes were just as real as his own. What must it have been like for her to see her husband take on the might of Rome, knowing the risks they faced? How did she cope with the knowledge that their fight for freedom might end in death or recapture? By uncovering the untold story of Spartacus's wife, we gain a richer understanding of the role women played in historical revolutions. Though history has largely erased her name, she may have been a key figure in one of the greatest uprisings against Roman oppression. Her story is not just one of survival, but of resilience, hope, and the unwavering belief in the right to freedom. Through her, we are reminded that behind every great historical leader, there are often figures whose impact, though unrecorded, was no less significant.